Hey, 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 it's Susan Bach here. Welcome to another edition of Fabulous Feature Friday. I'm delighted you've joined us today. For those of you who are new to our group and to this community, a heartfelt welcome. I'm delighted you're with us. Again, I'm Susan Bach, and I am all about attracting clients, celebrating success, and enjoying your freedom. I'm also the proud creator of the Uniquely You business system, which I am super excited about. I'm going to be talking more about this in the upcoming weeks, but I did want to give you a sneak peek today because it's going to change your world. I know that sounds like a very grandiose thing to say, but it really can make a difference in your business. You'll notice that at the center of this model, this formula, is Uniquely You. And that's because this entire business success formula is 100% about you. It's not about what somebody else thinks will work for you or what someone else tells you to do. This is 100% your creation. It's your business. It's uniquely you. That's what I love about it. But not why we're here today. What I want to talk to you about today are the 4 challenges of being a CEO. I love that expression. A CEO, that was actually coined by Ashley Stahl in 2016 in an article that she wrote for Forbes magazine. I love it then, and I still love it today. So being a CEO, let's be perfectly honest. You've learned that about me so far. I'm very transparent, very honest, and forthright. Being a woman entrepreneur isn't easy. In fact, after being one for 18 years, I am acutely aware of the challenges facing emerging entrepreneurs. And to some extent, those of us who have been in business for several years might still be facing these challenges. In some ways, it's much easier now to be a CEO. Technology has made that easier for us and has certainly opened up the world to us, the world market. In a recent article in Entrepreneur magazine, yes, it is one of my favorites. I often quote that magazine because they featured me twice. How cool is that? But in this article, they said that now, today, every second, 8 new people join the internet. 8. And now, today, more people are members of Amazon Prime than have landline telephones. Wow. So this means if you're marketing your business online, and who isn't, if you're not, we really should talk. You can reach 2.8 billion people, which means that the amount of customers or clients you can attract is literally limitless. Just think about your niche. How many people are in your niche? Even if you've attracted 1% of those people, that's a phenomenal number. And yet, with all of this wonderful technology and marketing available to us, we struggle. We struggle with perceptions. We struggle with mindset. We struggle with limiting beliefs. I know I did for years, and I refused to admit it. Now, that refusal or denial or stubbornness, whatever you choose to name it, nearly killed my business and destroyed me. Pride and ego prevented me from being successful. Pride and ego prevented me from achieving the success that I dreamed of enjoying. Now, pride and ego are good tools to have and useful for keeping us safe. However, when pride and ego overtake our decision-making processes and influence our behaviors, the result can be disastrous. At least it was for me. Because I was too proud to admit that I was struggling, I struggled more. I didn't want to ask for help. I thought that was a sign of weakness, and that certainly prevented me from achieving the success that I wanted. When I owned up to it and sought help, my journey to success was swift. If only I would have done it sooner, I could have circumvented a whole ton of stress, strife, and suffering. But that wasn't my path. So today I want to talk to you about these 4 challenges that I struggled with, that I know many of my clients struggle with, and how I've overcome each one so that I could stop struggling and start savoring sweet success. So here's the first challenge. Before we talk about this, I do want to give credit to Curmudgeon Cards. They are the creators of the graphics that you'll be seeing today on this presentation. I have a particular fondness for Curmudgeon Cards. I met the artist, truly appreciate her work. I own several of her prints throughout my house, and today you get to enjoy some of her whimsical and yet very profound work that she's created. So to challenge number 1, too many people still don't take women business owners seriously. In 2001, when I started my business, CEOs were just coming to the surface in the business world. Now, I was well accustomed to fighting the glass ceiling in corporate, but I have to admit, I was pretty surprised when I encountered it almost blatantly, if you will, on occasion in, I'll just say, interactions with other people. In a casual conversation, when meeting with someone for the first time, the typical proverbial question comes up of, what do you do? And I would answer that I'm a business owner. Well, the reactions ranged from laughter by some, others were just practically in shock and looked at me with disbelief, and it's like, really? You're a business owner? And others were so taken aback that they stumbled and fumbled over their words. Now, over time, their disbelief, them not taking me seriously, began to erode my self-confidence. I'll share with you how I overcame this in just a minute, because as much as I'd like to think that the world has evolved and caught up to the 21st century, some limited thinking has not. Just last week, when making an acquaintance with some new neighbors in our neighborhood, I responded to the proverbial question that I'm a business owner, and the person actually laughed out loud in disbelief. It's ridiculous, and yet it's what it is. There are many people who just don't take women seriously. So when I finally admitted what I was struggling with, not being taken seriously, what did I do? Well, first, I stopped taking it personally. I realized that it wasn't about me. It was about them. There are some people who have this deep-seated gender bias, and it has nothing to do with me. And second of all, I stopped absorbing their limiting beliefs and started playing bigger. It wasn't about me attempting to change their opinion or stand strong in convincing them. Rather, I needed to stand strong in myself, in my convictions, and in my beliefs. The result is that rather than struggling to change someone's mind or succumbing to the need of demonstrating just how worthy I am of their approval, I walked away, and now I surround myself with a strong network of my making that include coaches, mentors, and businesswomen I admire. My solution to seeking help with my struggle paved the way to some lasting relationships that are still vital and essential to my success today. And in fact, that's why I created the Facebook group, so that we could have a community of women that was supportive, non-judgmental, and equally invested in everyone's success. On to number 2. We don't give ourselves credit. For me, this struggle is related to the previous one of not being taken seriously. And I place part of the responsibility for this on how I was raised. I had very well-intending, well-meaning parents who pushed, encouraged me to do more, be more, achieve more. And in that environment, all of my natural skills, talents, and abilities, those things that I did really well and that I loved to do and that I did easily, were pretty much discounted or dismissed or deemed not important. Rather, I was encouraged to work harder on the things I didn't do so well. Now, adding to this is the stigma that when I would attempt to communicate my accomplishments, it was seen as bragging and there were consequences. Carrying this into my business, and perhaps you can relate, as a CEO, if we can't talk about our accomplishments, the successes we've had with clients, the big contracts we've won, if we can't talk about that, then it's virtually impossible to give ourselves credit. It's not just about our business, too. It's in every aspect of our lives. I didn't realize how this limiting belief permeated so much of my perception. Look at everything we do every day, from managing the household, the business, managing ourselves. We probably have children, family, other relationships that require attention. There are so many things that we take on each day, and we take it for granted. My invitation to you right here and now is to stop, take a deep breath, and give yourself credit for everything that you do. And yes, take credit because you deserve it. I also invite you to have the confidence to stop worrying about how others may perceive you and rather focus on what you do well. What someone else thinks or believes about me, I choose to no longer allow to define me. The key is learning how to leverage our accomplishments, big and small, in such a way as to build and grow your business. The world needs what you have. If you've been following me for some time, you've heard me say this so often. The world needs the gifts that only you have to share. And that means learning how to communicate about you and your successes in an effective and impactful way so that you can attract clients that resonate with who you are and with the solution that you have to offer. Number 3, women tend to overextend ourselves. Wow, this is a big one for me. Trying to be all things to all people and do it all myself put me on the fast track to burnout. Delegation wasn't something that I did well or easily in the early days of my business because I wanted to keep costs at a minimum. What a huge mistake. Not to keep costs at a minimum, but to have such a limiting mindset, such a perspective that scarcity was making decisions for me. This was a huge mistake. I spent so much time and energy on things that I didn't like to do, that I struggled to learn how to do, and never achieved any level of success or proficiency. All of that combined certainly did a number on eroding my self-confidence and self-esteem. What I learned was that it's okay to ask for help. In fact, asking for help is a sign of strength. It's not cheating or cutting corners. It's allowing other people to help you succeed so that you can be free to focus on the things that are most important to you. And those are the money-making activities that only you can do. If you want to avoid burnout and build your business into a lucrative, sustainable, yes, money-making machine, then you must learn how to say no. No to those time and energy vampires. No to giving everything you have away for free. No for dismissing your skills and abilities. And start saying yes to the greatness of who you are. When you prioritize and manage your time well, trust me, you will achieve success you want so much faster, and yes, with less effort. I know it sounds counterintuitive. The truth is that when you invest your time in what you do best and concentrate on money-generating activities, you'll start to see results immediately. Now, granted, this one takes some concerted effort, and it's necessary if you want your business to be a long-term success. I've coached many CEOs through this stumbling block. It's a particularly gnarly one for us. It's not something that we can solve on our own. If you'd like help with this, I'll post a link for you to schedule a complimentary call with me in the post. Let's discover how we can fast track you into saying no to what's holding you back and yes to your success. And that brings us to number 4, fearing failure. Again, society has some catching up to do. From a young age, women are not generally taught to be confident the way men are taught to be. As a result, this lack of confidence means that we tend to give into our fear and failure to the point that it could even cripple us. This is how it plays out. If we don't try, we won't fail. If we don't stretch, expand, and grow beyond our perceived safety net, we won't fail. While fear of failure is normal, it's in our DNA, it's part of our genetic code, and it's healthy to an extent, it doesn't have to stop us from pursuing our dream. Failure is the stepping stone to success, according to Arianna Huffington. When I realized that my fear of failure was keeping me small, safe, and, stifled, I made the conscious decision that the counterbalance to fear is courage. When I'm hesitant to take action or feel that icky twinge in my stomach, that's my fear alarm going off. And for me, the secret is to acknowledge the fear rather than denying it or dismissing it or berating myself for experiencing it. Just acknowledge it and work through it before making a decision or taking action. So how do I work through it? Well, I ask myself a series of questions. Yes, I have a conversation with myself. The first question is this a 1, 2, or 3 alarm fear alert? 1, 2, or 3? Is it the outcome? Am I perceiving it? Am I projecting it? Or is it a real possibility? Is the decision or action contrary to my beliefs, values, or obligations? Having that kind of a rational conversation with myself helps me come to an informed conclusion on which I can take action. It diminishes the emotion of fear and puts me into the energy of courage and confidence. And when I do fail, and yes, I do, I know that I have the competence and the confidence to handle the outcome, to learn from it, and to move on. Yes, as CEOs, we definitely face unique challenges in our businesses, and yes, we can overcome them. When you find yourself hesitating to play bigger, remember, it's not just about you. It's about all the women you'll inspire, giving them their permission slip they need to own their uniqueness, to step into their gifts, and to be the difference our world needs. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these challenges or other challenges that you might be encountering. Let's keep this conversation loud and proud. Be willing to talk about it with courage. and say, yes, we can have a business and a life we love. We no longer need to be defined by, we can create our own definitions. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing your posts. Bye for now.